Jeff, we get several questions like this in some way, shape, or form. So I want to kind of just lump it all together from the Let's Go Racing audience. We'll put it that way. Tell us about how jeffgluck.com came about, what it was like covering the sport independently between USA Today and the Athletic there.
Yeah, that was a very interesting time in my life for sure. Very scary, but very just exciting also. So I was at USA Today and I enjoyed working there. But we'd gotten a new sports editor and he wasn't too into NASCAR at all. Didn't really know much about the sport or grasp it. I don't really think he cared about NASCAR. So I had gone to him and said, my wife, she was trying to become a child life specialist at a children's hospital, which is someone who kind of goes around to the rooms and provides support for the families, talks to kids about what the procedures might be like, or just tries to provide comfort in a way, whether it's to the siblings or the parents or the patients, to make them a little bit more comfortable or less scared of what's going on. And so she was needing to do her internship for that and move away from Charlotte where we were living. And then she was going to try to find a job somewhere. So I told USA Today, hey, I'm just going to relocate and I'll just fly to the races from, wherever we end up. And I didn't even think, I legitimately didn't think that would be a problem because they had many other writers who, like the NFL writers, for instance, right? They would live in any city and then they would fly to the NFL games, the biggest game of the week. But the sports editor said, no, you're not allowed to move. I'm sorry. And I was like, wait a minute, why? He's like, we need you to be in Charlotte. And I'm like, but it's not like I'm going to the race shops in Charlotte. I mean, we do 90% of our work at the tracks. I mean, yes, every once in a while, there might be some, the Kyle Busch press conference or something that's a big press conference. But we don't go to, we get all our interviews at the track. We do everything at the track. So, but he said, no, sorry. So I was like, okay, well, this is putting me in a tough spot here. I'm not going to tell my wife, your dreams of helping children at the hospital. Yeah, no, you can't do that. We're going to have to stay in Charlotte, So I quit after thinking about it for a couple of weeks. And I was like, well, what am I going to do here? So I decided to start, a crowd-funded site. And I was pretty resigned to okay, this may not work. This is a really good chance this may not work. This may be the end of my road in NASCAR. I may be working at Starbucks, driving Uber, or delivering Amazon. I don't know. We'll just see here. But I didn't have anything. Fortunately, it worked out. I got a lot of support from readers who didn't want me to go away, I guess. Excuse me. So, I was pretty happy doing that for 2.5 years. And then the Athletic came calling. And it was like, I don't know, I was pretty torn because I really liked that relationship that I had with my supporters and the readers and the listeners. Like it felt so intimate. Like I had this great Facebook group, which it still exists. I had all these, basically like video chats with people and texting with people. And it just felt like, I was working for them and it was just such a nice direct relationship. But I was also wanting to have kids, and a real job like that has health benefits, and not to be boring, but that's pretty much, health insurance is very expensive and means a lot. So, I was like, well, it would be nice to have job security and be able to start a family. And now we have 2 kids. So, we couldn't have done that really without having that, you know what I mean? So, that's where I am. And the Athletic's been great. It's been fun to be part of like a growing brand and a growing company. And they're making a lot of gains in the sports world and stuff. So, it's been enjoyable, but it was fun in the jeffgluck.com days, just because it was just so unique and different than what I've ever done.
Do you ever see yourself wanting to do that again down the road, maybe twilight of your career or at another point? Is that something you could see yourself doing again?
I've thought about whether it would even work again, because at the time I did it, like there wasn't really, like now everybody has like a Substack, or like everybody's asking you to be like a super follower on Twitter, or, give me $5 a month for this, or $5 a month for this.
Chatting on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I think the timing that I did it, it just happened to be where not a lot of people were doing that. Not everybody wasn't paying, for their streaming services and for subscriptions all over the place. I think it might be a tougher road if I tried to do it again. And then the other thing I think about too, like I had left to go to the Athletic in the middle of 2019. Let's say I had still been doing the jeffgluck.com thing during the pandemic, where the economy got really bad and people were struggling. I think it would have been tough to stay afloat at that point. Like that might have been the end of what I was doing then, because people might have said, hey, I liked your site, but I can't give you $5 or $10 a month right now when everybody's losing their jobs, or, my restaurant just closed and, people are getting laid off, or travel shut down. Sorry, Jeff. So I don't know if I would have made it through that. So it kind of makes me nervous that if I was ever to do something like that again, I don't know if it would work. I really don't. So that might have been just a moment in time, sort of, that just, I happened to get incredibly lucky.
Absolutely. But still a cool venture nonetheless. You don't see a lot of people taking on that entrepreneurship and those entrepreneurial skills. I mean, what do you think was the biggest lesson you learned in that entire thing?
It's really easy to overextend yourself. And I felt guilty, actually, almost like every day. I felt like I was never doing enough for the people that were funding me. Whether it was, gosh, I didn't go in the Facebook group today and say hi, or like check in with people, or this person had, messaged me last week wanting a sticker, and oh my gosh, I haven't sent out that sticker yet, or, oh, I promised, this person had asked if I would, because I would, do these things where like, oh, I'd have phone calls with people if they wanted to, or whatever. And, I just would, there was so many people to try to please. And, I think most of the people probably were just like, yeah, we don't care. We're just trying to support you. But then there was other people who were like, hey, I expected more out of you, or I expected more interaction from you directly, and I'm disappointed that I'm not getting that. And, I had like something like 2,000 different people paying, a variety, and you just felt like, am I letting these people down? Am I, just like there was always something to be doing, trying to keep the website from crashing, trying to keep the podcast going, trying to, just get your content out in every way, and answer people's questions. And it was just a lot, because really it was endless. And so you'd wake up every day just feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. I need to start going right away. And then you'd feel like at the end of every day, I didn't get enough done. I let these people down. And that was hard for me. Just sort of that constant feeling, it's almost easier sometimes when you have a boss and your boss is like, yep, we're good. All right. Talk to you tomorrow. You're like, okay,
Right.
I did my job for the day.